All right. So good evening. Sorry, we were running a few minutes behind. We wanted to make sure and get everybody and everything prepared. As we go through today, we have a couple of nice announcements. We have a lot of exciting things going on. We have great guests. More importantly, we've got some breaking news. So we have Erin Elliott at the first part, and we will be talking a little bit about her as far as her journey and really where she's gone and came from in fitness. We also have some breaking news that Chris, would you like to go ahead and update everybody on what you found coming out of England yesterday and this morning?
Yeah, man, those guys across the pond, man, you gotta love them. So apparently there was a video that surfaced last night. I think we have Mr. Kyle Green and Elliot Robinson. Many of y'all might remember these guys from the Atlas 2019 Atlas. Kyle placed fourth. Men's beach body, and Elliot Robinson took second place in men's beach body, both behind three-time Mr. Atlas Jeremy Brandon. So the thing is, they're saying right now, if they can get Jeremy out of retirement, that they're a lot of people are going to come watch it. So the gauntlet has basically been laid down to get Jeremy Brandon out of retirement and come compete for his fourth Mr. Atlas. So as coach, I have a little bit of insight to that. So we'll see, cool. And I think we're going to try and get all those guys right here on the Here We Grow podcast and see if we can't stir the pot a little bit, a little friendly stirring, if you will.
So they were slated for a little bit later in next month. We might make a little rearrangement and call an audible for possibly the next week or two. So we'll be announcing that somewhat early next week. Now, also, if you notice, yes, Alice, thank you for noticing. We do have a new background. Chris looks much better than anyone else on that. But this is brought to you by Bella Glam. What's great about Lisa is she makes all of our posters for the weekly Facebook. So it's really cool that they're able to, volunteer their time and do those things. So as you know, Bella Glam is essentially one of our official sponsors for almost every GBO show, especially in Texas. And also, if you see on the bottom, our Liquid Sunrays Texas. I know Scott's watching, and we'll be hiding soon as they will be up second. And he will appreciate the LSR Texas, as I know he made that logo too. So just to give you guys a couple of extra updates, they will be toward the end of today. But I want to jump in with Erin Elliott. And, a lot of you guys already know Erin as she is a GBO pro and competitor, competed at the Atlas and was in the running for a world championship and did very well. As a matter of fact, I know that you've gone through a lot of shows. I want to talk a little bit about, your season going through all the way up to when you first started competing, and even before that, is also a certified yoga instructor. And I want to get into that as far as how you did that and why you did that. You're also a personal trainer. You're a nutritionist. You're a posing coach. You're a mother. You're a wife. And, you're really embedded in the community in League City. Any gym around here knows who you are. Erin Elliott is a household name. She is someone that I met 4 years ago at V12 and someone that really made an impact because there were a lot of things that I bounced off her that even though I had a coach, I wanted to get her opinion and her take because she carries a lot of weight and credibility with not only what she says, but the athletes that she produces on stage as well. So, Erin, thank you for being on, and
thank you.
Appreciate you making some time. So I just first want to start off. What really got you into the fitness industry?
So I actually started out in as a distance training. I did a couple of triathlons, marathons, finished my full Ironman about 9 years ago, and just kind of got bored with the endurance side of things and decided that I wanted to lift weights instead. So I kind of played around with CrossFit for a little bit, got certified in CrossFit also, coached that for a little while, and then talked to my CrossFit coach, and he said, I really think you would enjoy bodybuilding. And I actually used to train CrossFit with Lisa Sanders, who's also a household name in the area. And she is a pro also, and watched her journey. And I thought, if she can do it, I can do it. And so I did my first show with another organization. I've done 15 shows now in the last 8 years. So Atlas was my 15th show, and not sure what is going to be next. I'm really focusing more on my own athletes right now. So
good. When you first started, what division were you competing in?
I did figure. And then I also played around with classic bodybuilding, which it was the very first year I competed, was the first year that women's physique division started to become more popular. That was the year that Dana Lynn Bailey was the first female to place at the Olympia for that year.
Yes.
That
So
I believe I was at that show, Erin, and I remember because yes, I thought the women's physique position, or as we call it, the women's classic, was amazing. I thought it was perfect, and I was at that show, and I know what show you're talking about, and I'll never forget. Like, man, these girls look great. I was a little bit of fanboy when y'all were up there. I'm not gonna lie, because just because of what we do, you know. And I remember this might be some more fanning, but in the seat you came and you sat literally across the aisle from me, and I was like, wow, man, I was like, this chick she's going to do something, and then she did. So
wow,
so congratulations. But yeah, I've never told you that, but that's kind of how I knew who you were. So so yeah, very, very cool, and it's been fun to watch you. So because you know, as a local going as far as you did, that's pretty badass. So.
And that's coming from a coach who, you know, has multiple professionals as well as multiple championships in center stage fitness. You know, one of the things that I noticed about you, Erin, is as we would talk, you know, I knew you were going to, and it was crazy because, you know, we kind of watched you from a distance. And, you know, we were spectating. And one of the things I noticed after you came off stage, after the show was over, whether you were traveling to the East Coast, the West Coast, wherever you were traveling to go to work on your pro card, even if you didn't earn it, you came back a better person with an attitude. And I just noticed that your attitude was tremendous. It's like, how did you not win? And you're like, well, this is why I didn't, because I saw the flaws that I needed to work on. And you worked on those. You took all the not the criticism, but the feedback that you got from the judges. You were able to implement the things that you needed to really change your physique, because going from figure to a classic bodybuilding, that does require a tremendous amount of dedication, because you have to put on so much more muscle and you have to come in a different way in conditioning. So really, what did you learn as you were going through each show? I know it might be different, but why did you have such a great attitude after the show?
Well, I have to say that there were a couple of shows, though, that my sportsmanship was lacking. And one of my coaches actually called me on it, and it hit home. And I came home that year and I thought, I am never going to compete again. And of course I did. And then I did a show, and I actually traveled by myself. It was a national show. And it was one of the most rewarding experiences, being backstage by myself, traveling by myself, not just doing the whole show just as an athlete on my own. There was no team with me. There was no coach with me. It was just me. And I think after that show, I think that was actually like my ninth or 10th. And it was very eye-opening about the sport itself. And it's not only about the day of the show. I mean, that's the whole climax of your training, but it's about the whole experience, and it's about the lifestyle. And, you know, in the grand scheme of things, people don't remember where you place anyway. They remember the work that you put in the weeks before and what you have to say about the show after. And if you're willing to look at yourself in a very, I don't want to say critical way, it's not really a great word to use for that, but just like self-evaluation after a show, and see what things you could have done better, what you could have improved upon, then you're growing as an athlete. And every year you can learn from that.
Yeah. There was something that you mentioned. You talked about having 11 athletes in the legacy coming up September 26th. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes, 11 athletes, maybe 12.
Wow.
So one of my kids thinking about doing the show too, so as a team, so that'd be pretty cool. So Yeah, so right now I've got 11 athletes. See, 3 of them are already pro. So that's going to be exciting to see them take the stage. Melody Farkas is going to be doing classic, and we're putting a routine together and all that. And I'll tell you what, she is one hell of an athlete, and I can't wait to see her move to try a different division. Talked to Jamie today. She's ready to go for the Storm as a pro. So those are going to be some girls to look out for. And then Cynthia, who is moving from bikini in shape all the way up to figure. And I call her Fun Size, my little nickname for her. And this chick, I'll tell you what, she is so hardworking. She's barely 5 feet tall, 100 pounds, and she back squats like almost like what I do is my working sets, but that's her 1 rep max. I mean, she is so strong and never gives up.
Nice.
And so I've got some amazing new girls that are coming in that have never competed before, that are really super excited to have the experience of being on stage. And kudos to them for sticking through it with the quarantine. I mean, I've never seen such creativeness with their workouts and their diets and with I've got a couple of girls that have 4 and 5 kids at home under like the age of 7, and they're not giving up. They've got their heart set on taking that stage and winning, and God bless them. They're doing great.
Nice. Now you're very well known even around the state of Texas, if not the country, as far as having female athletes. And you've always had a good number of competitors, and they really seem to have a good gelling and flowing in really kind of your group. Talk about a little bit about how you got into helping the men's side, because I've noticed that you picked up a good number of men, and you've even turned some of them pro. So how did that all come about?
So a lot of what I'm a firm believer that I don't care if you're male or female, you're going to train the same exact way, and your diet's going to be very similar. I mean, if you're on HRT, it's a little bit different, but for the most part, I mean, science is science. You know, biomechanics, whether you're female or male, it's still the same. And I do think as a coach, I see a lot of athletes that are trained differently depending on if they're male or female. And I don't agree with that. I think that all athletes are the same. And that might be partially because of my CrossFit and endurance athlete background. But I just kind of have a different view on that. And so I do have one guy that's going to be doing legacy. And then I have Gabor, who is a pro, who will also be stepping on stage this year too. And then I also coach a couple of strongmen. I've got a couple of guys from the wrestling team, which is pretty legit. So I do have different types of athletes too. I don't just coach people that do shows.
I was looking to see if Will was on here because I know he's a professional wrestler, and I think he might have been hopping on, and he's giving you a couple of thumbs up. So
that's pretty cool.
Aaron,
he's giving me a second today. That was pretty legit.
Yes.
Aaron, I probably already know the answer, but I kind of want to hear you say it. So you talked about training your clients same as male and female. I 1000% agree with that. I said it on here. I train my beach body girls just like I train my standard bodybuilding girls. I feel that if you're not putting in that same, it's all about intensity. If you're not putting that intensity into your workouts, you're not going to change the body the way you want it to be or get it to where it needs to go. So, right. and so just get your theory, you know, is that how you feel about that also?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think one of the main differences between a beach body competitor and classic bodybuilding is more just time. I mean, you've got to put the density on, the muscle density, and that just comes with years and years and years of experience. And I mean, I look at my pictures from my first show and I'm like, wow, I was small. I think my stage weight was all of like 110 pounds. And this year I stepped on stage at 130. And so that's 20 pounds of muscle over the course of 8-9 years. So, I mean, it doesn't happen overnight. And, you know, it just takes diligence and hard work and consistency.
Yeah, I saw an interview.
Off season like you're on season.
Yes, I've seen an interview with Haney Rambod one time, and somebody had asked him the difference between they're bikini girls and bodybuilders. He said the only difference is the amount of food I give them. They train the same. It's just the amount of food. So
Yep.
yeah, I love it. Yeah, great. 100% agree.
Cool.
You mentioned something that I think, when we talked about it, I know you give free yoga sessions on Sundays, or you used to.
Yes.
So I don't want to overstep my bounds with that.
Yes,
Tell me how yoga plays into bodybuilding, because I think there was something there that you hit on that a lot of bodybuilders don't understand when it comes to dexterity, flexibility, getting blood flow and oxygen to the muscle. Tell me about how yoga incorporates into your world.
Well, so every morning I get up, I have a routine. First thing I do is my cardio. And second thing I do is anywhere from 10 minutes to 45 minutes of yoga every morning. And it's just an opportunity to kind of just feel yourself in space. It's made me a much better lifter as far as my mobility goes, more body awareness. I have more respect for injury prevention also because of yoga. And, you see a lot of bodybuilders that, they can't scratch their own back. And, there's different elements of health and wellness, and having big biceps is just one of several. You should be able to touch your toes and, breathe properly, nasal breathing, and control your nervous system through breathing. And if you can't do those things, who cares if you have nice triceps? I mean, it's the whole package. It's important.
One of the things that I remember, and I think both of you are old enough because I think we're all the same age. I remember Melvin Taylor. I think it was at an Olympia or an Arnold, where when he did his posing routine, he was able to do the splits, and it was like nothing to him. And it just reminded me of, how important flexibility and being in tune with your body for what your limits are, but pushing past the limits, because it allows for more creativity in posing routines, and it brings kind of an artistic flow or presentation. So,
well, plus you have more, as just a human being, you have more spatial awareness. You know where your limbs are, where your body is, and so you just become a better athlete in general.
Yeah, it adds to bodybuilding is an art. I always refer my clients to tell you. Actually, I did it today, literally. Go watch Pumping Iron, the old Arnold ugly movie, horrible shot, whatever. First 5 minutes of that movie, they're in there doing ballet lessons. Yeah. Him and Franco Columbu. I mean, if you can imagine that, it's really kind of funny, but go see it. But it plays into the way those guys posed back in the day. It was beautiful. So, I mean, the same thing with the yoga. Yeah, you might be, it may not be exactly the same as the ballet stuff, but it plays into how an athlete can move on stage and in general. And probably you're right, probably help with muscle growth in the gym also through all the stretching.
Well, and I think too, it's very important from the mental health side of things, because we are so mean to our bodies during prep. What we do is not exactly healthy that last 6 or 7 weeks or so when we're really, really hungry. And so I do think from the mental health standpoint, it's good for body image, and to realize how, like, when you're controlling hunger, how temporary some of our wants are. And so there's more than just yoga, is more than just the physical side. It has to do with the mental side, the emotional and spiritual, and bringing all of those aspects together for a holistic health approach.
You also, I guess, not only have competitive bodybuilders, you also have transformation clients, you have kids, you have, across the spectrum. So what are some of the wins that you have seen, especially over the last 2 months? Do you have a story or two or something that really sticks out as far as really what people have overcome? You said people are getting creative with their training and their workouts.
Oh yeah, for sure. And, just showing up every day. I don't want to call anyone out, but I've had a couple of friends of mine hey, I've just been day drinking on my couch every day. And I'm like, well, and I'm there's times in my life too, where I'm just like, I need to veg for a little while. But then I've got clients that are, hey, give me a self-improvement book that I can read the next couple of weeks, or give me some kind of homework assignment I can work on with one of the other 8 limbs of yoga besides just the movement side, work on morality or moral codes and and things like that. And so there's a lot more to it than just the working outside and hitting the gym. And I think that's pretty commendable of a lot of the people that I work with, that they're staying so focused. And maybe even if the focus is shifted a little bit, there's still, I've got shit to do.
Yes.
And they're going to do it.
Yes. That's really cool. And I guess with, with what you have going on, how do you balance? This was the main topic that we talked about. Not only do you do yoga classes on Sunday, you personally train 5 days a week, your clients, you train yourself. And now that we're coming out of quarantine and the gyms are opening up in a week, thank heavens. Really, how do you keep a busy balance in check with your family? And really just because, you have to have some outside support. I know Elliot really well, and I know he gives you a ton of support. What are some of the life hacks that you do to make sure your meals are prepped, to make sure you get time with him and the family? What are some of the things that you can share on that end?
Well, one of the biggest things is just having a morning routine, because if your morning gets out of whack, your whole rest of your day gets out of whack. And so the first thing I do when I do my cardio and my yoga in the morning and meditate, while I'm doing a little bit of cardio, I'll get on my phone and make basically like a little mini schedule of what my day looks like. And so from X amount of time to this time, I train clients. From this time to this time, I work out. From this time to this time. It's an old Franklin Covey thing that I learned back in college, if that doesn't date me, when the type of planners that he used were very popular back then. And it taught me time management when I was in college. And so I've carried that over. And one thing that I had to learn being so busy was being in the moment and not worrying about so much about what I was going to do next, but worrying about what I was doing right now. And from a mental standpoint, that has made me, I think, more successful, because I don't get so frazzled. I don't get burnt out. But sometimes I will admit I have a hard time like backing out of commitments with work, because I do take on a lot. But I try to designate certain days for online clients, certain days for like nutrition clients, certain days for my mentorship. And so doing that has made a huge difference. Not just having this aimless life where you don't plan anything, don't set goals.
Right.
So it sounds like you're focused and you're intentional about making sure that you're organized before the day starts, so that way the day can go according to your plan instead of let the day run you.
Correct.
Especially right now, man, that is so important, because you can get down an ugly rabbit hole without planning your day out, and with the quarantine stuff we got going on and all that. So yeah, so that's a great idea. You've got to wake up and plan your day out, and make sure you nail it, man. Good idea.
So coming out of this,
well, I'm so thankful too that I started a lot of these things before the quarantine.
Right. Yeah.
So what are you?
I'm glad I started a lot of these habits before the quarantine.
Gotcha. So what are you focused on the next few weeks? I mean, does your shift change now that the gyms are back open? Are you expecting a surge in clientele as far as being able to see them more often visibly? I mean, tell me about how this is going to affect your.
Well, I may or may not have had a few clients train at the house. We'll keep that on the down low.
We didn't hear anything about that.
I don't know anything about that. So really my schedule hasn't changed. I have picked up a lot more online programming clients, which I'm absolutely loving it. Because being able to work on more of 6 and 8 week programs, progressive overload, working on specific like goals as far as like bench press and squats and VO2 tests and things like that. Like I usually don't get to work with clients with that sort of detail, and I'm online, and I'm really enjoying doing that.
So what are some of the things that came out of this that you felt, oh, wow, I didn't realize I could take on so many online clients? Did you find anything that was really helping to make your business more efficient?
Yes,
or is it kind of business as usual?
I got accepted into a mentorship with Dr. Mike T. Nelson at the beginning of the quarantine. And at first I told him I didn't want to do it. I was like, no, this isn't for me. And he's like, no, you need to do it. And I was like, no. And I was like, all right, fine. And so he talked me into it, and I was kind of like, yeah, whatever. But even just over the course of the 7 weeks that I have been with him, I have learned so much about online programming and how to be efficient. And I've got all my clients streamlined on certain apps, which have helped me stay more organized with them and get better response times. And so he's been teaching me some of those things. And it's been very, very helpful.
Good. Now, when you mentioned VO2, I know that Mike Patterson is watching as well. Hello, Mike. He's going to be a guest here very soon in the next probably 6 weeks or so.
Oh, he's awesome.
Do you, I guess, do you do VO2s, DEXAs, and RMRs and BMRs?
So the VO2 test I typically do is either the 12-minute run test or a 2K row test. And mostly I've actually been doing the 2K row test with and tracking that week to week to see either improvement, or if an athlete starts to slide a little bit, we need to work more on aerobic capacity.
And for those of you who don't know, a VO2 test is basically your endurance, your aerobic capacity, how much you can take. You know, it's kind of like a mini stress test. And a DEXA tells you where you're at physically as far as, you know, your muscle composition, your fat composition, where you hold it, those kinds of things. So Erin turned me on to Mike Patterson, and he is a guy who, from what I saw, Jamie just joined too. Jamie just had a DEXA today. Is that what I'm seeing? I think that's, oh, they're open. So I just got that. And if you wonder why I'm looking at the other screen, is because I can see the comments that pop up. So, well, good. Well, I guess for this, Erin, you know, I can't thank you enough for your time. Is there anything that, you know, you would like to share, you know, someone who maybe is struggling right now just to get the momentum to get back out, especially as Texas opens, or, you know, really just struggling in general to eat right or to sleep correctly? Is there anything that you could recommend? Just 2 or 3 quick tips.
I would say writing down your 3 biggest obstacles and heading them on face on, like, you know, just head on, and try to make little mini plans to overcome those 3 obstacles. And a lot of the other shit will just fall away if you focus on those 3 big ones. And then one thing that you feel like you were most successful about, build on that. And then also just having a plan. Like, once the gym's open, being able to know, you know, Monday is this day, Tuesday I'm going to do this, Wednesday it's this, so that you don't walk into the gym and you're just like, wow, I haven't been here forever, I have no idea what I'm doing. And just having a day-to-day plan strategy.
So from what I hear, keep it simple. Focus on 3 things. You focus on too much, it gets too complicated.
Yes.
So keep it simple.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Erin, thank you very much for being with us. You know, I appreciate all that. And maybe we might see you on stage this year again.
I'm going to keep that on a down low. Not sure yet.
Ooh, I know that there's some people that were asking during the, you just got to tune in, you know, and you got to keep up with Erin on her stuff. So Erin, thank you again. Enjoy the evening. Have a great weekend. We'll catch back up soon. Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks. And we have Mr. Scott and Mrs. Lisa Ramsey, who, as they see, we have, I think, is that a ring light?
Yeah, a ring light and us.
And
So
we see the
that's
delay
pretty
on there with the tablet. I think this is cool. I mean,
cool. Did Scott fall asleep or?
I think he did, and that's totally cool. So, hey, what did you gather, you know, Chris, as far as it was really eye-opening for you that you really enjoyed about Erin?
Just open. I mean, she's kind of like me. I think our beliefs as far as approach to especially competitors is the same. I 1000% do not believe in reinventing the wheel. I believe it's hard work. I believe it's food and you know, dealing with and I'm probably gonna get in a little trouble for this, but as many females as I coach and you know, compete and all that, mental aspect, you know, with females, that is a huge deal. I mean, it is a big mental factor because the female body is not meant to get those low levels of body fat. So you have to have, first of all, as a coach, you have to still be stern and still, you know, push them, but know how to give them breaks and all that. And listening to Erin, you know, I know she's in tune with the mental aspect of it as well. So So kudos to her, and it works. She obviously puts out some great athletes. So.
Well, what's even cooler is this is the first time we have done a couples podcast. So as Scott's getting everything set up, I have to brag about these two individuals because all of you really know in the GBO family how important they are to us, but also how incredibly hardworking they are. So, if I can just touch on this, because I think there's a lot of things that go unrecognized because there's a lot of people who do the behind the scenes stuff. Scott, can you hear us okay? So as they're getting adjusted, for those of you who don't know Scott and Lisa Ramsey, first of all, Lisa owns Bella Glam. And she is very well known for not only doing makeup professionally for absolute superstars. I'm sure you can mention, people like Justin Timberlake, Ariana Grande, Jennifer Lopez. When they're on tour, they seek her out. And that is the person that they want. That is the person that they get. When it comes to Scott and Lisa, both tag team Liquid Sunrays Show Glow competition services. Every GBO show that we have that we can get Scott and Lisa at, they're there. They travel around the country with us. They were at the Royal Flush and did all the tanning. Yes. Hi, guys. Turn your audio on when you can. See if we can link you up into the audio section. That would be great. As soon as we're able to do that, we'll be good.
Man, to add on that, man, they are some very stand-up people. And as a coach, when it's game time and you got your clients running around and, carb depleted and all that kind of stuff, man, then there's the whole tan thing. Well, I've always been so confident knowing that a client has Scott and Lisa booked for a show that is one less thing as a coach that I have to worry about. So, because I know that they're going to have an amazing tan. And then if something is wrong with the tan, they will fix it and they will get it fixed. I've called on them at other shows where, I've had a client had a bad tan. And it's not the first time it's happened. It's happened several times. And I've called them and said, "Hey, Scott, man, can I send this client to y'all?" And sure, man, send them in, and they get it done and fix it. So as a coach, man, they have been just some amazing people. So,
and even to add to that, not by their own fault, it's just by our own fault. We will lay down as competitors and we'll lay down on our back. And all of a sudden, all of the tan, gets all over the concrete or whatever, and our clothes. And so, or we'll put our hand on our chest or on our abs, and they're able to touch it up and make it spotless. So
I have been known to take a nap and my hands be on my abs or whatever, and wake up with handprints on me. So yes, absolutely.
And while they're still getting the audio, there's one more thing I wanted to touch on. They are the promoters of the SPI Fit Expo. For those of you who know, you can see in the background, you can see on their shirts. I have to tell you, they are the hardest working promoters I have ever come across. And this is one of the things that I saw. If you don't know, they're based out of San Antonio. And they go all the way down to South Padre Island multiple times during a month or a year to make sure that their vendors are set up, the strongman's set up, the Fit Expo side, their host hotel is taken care of. Everything is taken care of. So, even outside of, the venue and the competition, they have the most important, which is, restaurants. They tell the restaurants, "Hey, we're probably going to be getting a surge at these local restaurants because this is where everybody wants to eat." So I really appreciated going down to their first annual last year and got to be a part of helping them out on stage and backstage. And also this year, looking really much forward to it. So if you look at the lower left-hand corner, I'm going to help you guys out because I really wanted to give you a good introduction. It should say mute. If you're on your phone, it should have a little mic.
There they go. Looks like they're connecting now.
Hey, you're now connected.
There they are.
Diggity.
Good
afternoon, ladies and gents.
Man, it's much easier to spray people than Zoom, apparently.
Well, look, hey, in true fashion, Chris Proctor was already on the comments. It's not a spray gun. They can't work it out.
It's accurate. So.
Oh man. Oh, man, we are really glad to have you guys, and thank you for making the time. This is going to be we're going to move into some of the competitors next week. It looks like, and we really wanted in a timely fashion to get you guys on because we know how hard you work. We also understand the amount of time, energy, resource that you've committed really just to the GBO. And I know, Scott, you and I talk a lot. And Lisa, I know that you are the one in charge and responsible for really helping the promotion of the podcast go as you create all the flyers. I don't know how you do it. You have a talent that none of us could even try and duplicate. We'd be frustrated and pull all our hair out. You'll notice Cruz doesn't have any either, and neither does Scott. So we can't thank you enough for that. And for those of you who know, these are the guys that are really the reason for the weekly success of the podcast. So welcome to you two.
Thank you, brother. I just want to say, man, thanks for having us on. Obviously, fans of the show, we've watched it for the last 3 weeks now, entering week 4. And, you know, a huge congratulations to both of you guys. You put in so much work, your own resources. So just know that it's appreciated, brother. We love you, and we appreciate you guys' hard work. This is doing phenomenal things for the GBO. So thank you guys for what you do.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you. I'd like to know a little bit of an update. You got some breaking news as far as I know that you worked around, you know, a lot of the challenges. And what's interesting enough is you tan a lot of shows. And I know behind the scenes we see it or we don't see it because you're trying to figure out what shows are actually going to happen. Because, you know, a lot of organizations and a lot of shows want you guys as their premier vendor. What are some of the things that have been really big wins? Let's talk about what you've been focused on these last few weeks.
Maybe you want to talk about that first? All right, well, first, but honestly, man, it's been along with anybody else with the problems we're having, you know, with today's society, what's going on with this virus, just like anybody else, you know, personal trainers, you run a small business, it's just been kind of staying on top of the game, constantly engage with promoters, constantly engage with athletes. Oftentimes there's lack of communication, whether it be, you know, from the promoter and or the athlete. So we kind of found with Lisa and I, it's great. We have a great relationship with most athletes. So it's oftentimes we can be that middle person to kind of relay whatever information that we know of to let them know kind of what's going on. But of course, you know, it's with everything else, you know, constantly rescheduling. The logistical issue we're facing now, just like any promoter in any organization, whatever it may be, is just trying to reschedule those shows in appropriate timing to where they don't fall on top of each other. You know, we don't want to water down any system. And we'll talk about that with our show later on too, with SPI, what we've had to do with certain divisions and so forth, or excuse me, certain disciplines. You don't want to water anything down. You know, we're all here to have a good time. But again, at the end of the day, you got to practice some kind of business ethics and do the right thing and make sure, you know, we're here for the athletes. Bottom line, whether we're service providers or promoters, you know, we're here for the athletes. So that's the most important thing. So
that's a great point, Scott. You know, we always say athletes first, and I know you stay in contact with your athletes coming to your shows or everybody involved with the show. So I totally firmly believe that organically that is going to grow your show exponentially because you have that care for the athlete to let them know yourself what's going on, when it's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. So, and you know, I just want to point out that's one thing that us promoters at GBO, that we care about the athletes, man. We want you to be up to date, up in front on, you know, what's going on. So you know, kudos for y'all to keeping up, and I know y'all do that to the T. So great job, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
So what are you guys seeing opening up for you guys? I know, Lisa, you know, you're doing hair, makeup, and tanning at this point. You have Bella Mobile Tanning. You have Bella Glam Makeup. What are some of the wins that you're seeing now coming out of this? Are you ready for this to all kind of break open?
You know, we are ready to service the athletes, and then definitely we have the sanitation procedures. They're going to be a little bit different. We want everybody to know that, you know, we're going to have them covered. We're taking sanitation classes. There's going to be a little bit of a different, you know, procedure when they come in. You know, we're going to have masks for everyone. Of course, glazing is going to be not an issue, but it's going to be contactless. You know, we're going to use the spray glaze. It's not everybody's favorite. We kind of implemented it last year just to, you know, see how that went. Because sometimes it's just, tons of athletes, and repetitively in a show, when it's an AM and a PM show, we glaze. If you have 80 to 100 athletes at a show, it's like 200 athletes or 250 after you touched everyone. So we're gonna do that for sanitation. We're also gonna probably ask the girls. I'm recommending that they all buy their own glue, for peace of mind. I know the body, we're sweating back there, we're running around back there. All the clients know that, I try to keep everything for them: gloves, masks, whatever they need, I have it back there. But we're just going to be a little bit more careful once we go back into things, as to, for everybody can be comfortable. I know everybody feels different about this virus, and I respect that. So I want all my clients to know that they're going to be covered and they're going to be comfortable. And I don't want anybody to, to feel that, something's not sanitary. And that's very important to me, as a business. So our first show is probably going to be in August, and then we'll start off there, definitely.
So I have to, commend you guys, because I think that went over a lot of people's head, not the way you said it, but the way that you have treated this, because more and more people, they would like to get the kind of training and like to do the extra things, but they're not doing what you guys are doing. You're going through classes, you're making everything contactless. You have a plan A, a plan B, a plan C. You're sensitive to people's needs. That's very rare these days. And I think that tends to get overlooked and underappreciated. And I know that, just from what I see, you having to reschedule all these shows, you make yourself look like a pro. Even though you feel like, you're so overwhelmed at times. I love the fact, I don't hear much complaint about you. I have to tell a story that I think is very important that people need to know. And I hope you guys don't hate me for this. But, my show, I was running around with my head cut off. And I'll just use this as personal experience. But the morning of the show, Lisa's truck got stolen out of the parking lot of the hotel. And I had no clue. And she showed up. She found a plan, I think D at that point, because number one, she had to call the police. She had to get the recording from the hotel. She had to see if it was anywhere to be found. She had to find the equipment that she had left. She had a staff. We had 140 athletes at that show that were ready to get touched up, tanned, and ready to go on stage. And that went out without a hitch. And I don't know who else could have pulled that off. So I know my voice went a little crazy and I got a little nuts just now, but I mean, to me, that is like Superwoman coming in without her cape or crown on, but nobody in the world in that venue had any idea that happened. And you just went to work, you put your head down, and you made it happen. And that to me is just ultra impressive, because that's what a true professional does.
I want to add to that.
Amateurs would have just folded. Go ahead, Chris.
I want to add to that, because I knew about it when it happened, but I literally thought it was another Lisa, because this Lisa was still back there taking care of business. I literally, till after the show, I didn't know it was Lisa. So I was like, oh wow, okay, and she did all that. It's like, dude, I'd have been tracking people down.
That's what I'm saying. We didn't know it was that Lisa. We knew a Lisa, but we didn't think it was that Lisa. So we're like, dude, she's back there tanning. It couldn't have been her. And none of the competitors knew. And Scott was in another city doing another show, and Lisa was here with a crew, right. And she made everything work. And I got to tell you, that is, huge kudos to you. Those are things that people don't know behind the scenes. It's the little things that count. And, that's one of the reasons why we're so excited about your show. Can we talk about your show now?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, you did your first show, and it was a huge success last year. I remember that show, and we still have athletes who, when they got their pro cards, they went on to big things last year. And I know there are a bunch of people coming back and returning this year. And I know this show is going to be so much bigger and so much better. What are some of the things that you're really excited about? Because you reached out, you're now training local judges. We're coming down with a crew and a volunteer staff to make sure that, everything is taken care of for you, because you went to bat for us. We're going to try and pay you back tenfold. So what are you excited about on your second year show?
Pretty much everything, man. I'll try and settle down a little bit here, so I don't talk too quickly, but the DC will come out at me. But super excited. Last year, thank you, by the way. And likewise, brother, you had both you gentlemen had a phenomenal show. So thank you. We appreciate that support. I'm excited about everything. First it's hard to put everything together, especially a full fit expo. Lots of moving parts, lots of point of contacts you have to engage, but I'm excited across the board only because last year was a pretty good show. We're very happy with that product, but I think I'm like both you gentlemen. I'm very detail oriented. I probably drive Lisa crazy. But I dissected every little part of our show. I'm hoping we're still on. This thing locked up on me.
Yeah, you're good.
You're on, man. And Victor said SPI is the bomb.
Okay, cool. I can't see us, so if I sway off camera here, forgive me.
That's
I'm just going to keep talking. But yeah, super excited. Lots of great athletes. Of course, I'm biased, but looking at the top few of every division, I was like, man, we got some really good looking athletes up there. I can't see us, so
that's Chris. That's all good.
Okay, so hopefully we're still on here. I don't see really anything here.
No, you're good, man. You keep talking.
Okay. All right, cool. How's my hair? Still good?
It's great. I think you need a little trim on the left side though.
Yeah, I can tell salons opened up today, man. You're looking good.
Thanks. That's the makeup part I was looking at today. But yeah, shifting back to the show, of course, super excited. Many things going on. Of course, we have this year we're bringing out a couple different aspects to add to the show to add the excitement. We've outgrown the expo hall. If you guys remember that from last year, the actual convention center, the exhibit hall where all the main action was going on last year. We've actually outgrown that 26,000 square foot. We've pushed into the lobby. All right. So we pretty much have the whole convention center this year. As you step across the threshold, once you pay for your ticket, the point of entry, you're going to be immediately greeted with vendors. Last year we had about 26. This year we're looking at having over 40. So big numbers there. As you walk into the expo hall, of course, all the excitement's going to be going down. A couple different things. We've got LFT Vet coming out from Corpus Christi. Phenomenal apparel, by the way. Love his booth setup, selling merchandise as well. But he's actually going to host us a deadlift party. Excited about that. Of course, we have Strongman Corporation. Strongman events going on, brought to us by Big Gabe down there, Pro Strongman. He'll be coming to us from Alpha Fit Gym. Right there in Edinburgh. So we love him. Sending you lots of love, brother. He's had a lot going on. So sending him some love. We appreciate your support, brother. And looking forward to seeing you. Next thing, we're bringing on something a little different. We're super excited about it. You've seen it in past expos. It's kind of gone away. So we're super excited to be the ones to bring it back. South Texas Pullers is bringing us some arm wrestling. So we're super excited about that. Something different. Haven't seen it in a while. But again, it's all strength associated. So we're super excited about that. And of course, the Grand Poobah center stage, we're going to have GBO sanctioned bodybuilding, obviously, all amateur divisions to include novice and masters. It's pro qualifying and even equally exciting. It's actually GBO Vegas Global Championships qualifier. So
there you go.
We're super excited that we have that privilege to represent the GBO. And again, we know everything we do is a reflection of the GBO. So we just every year we try and bring an awesome product, not only to represent GBO, but to have an awesome product for the athletes. Small details. We're always ironing out details. Again, our pride drive leads to crazy. But, everything from check-in process is super smooth. Tanny is right there. One venue, you're not going from host hotel back to venue. Everything's done right there in the venue. We have a designated break room for our athletes. You guys know that from last year. It'd be the same thing. We'll have chairs in there for you guys to lay down, find some real estate, get your feet up. You're competing, all right? We want you guys super relaxed. We're going to have microwaves in there so you can heat your food up. Silverware, disposable silverware for you guys, okay? Lots of little details. So again, we look forward to seeing everybody. We're super excited. We're looking at triple numbers across the board for every aspect of competition, whatever it is, a strongman, bodybuilding, the deadlift party, the course of arm wrestling. Numbers are shooting through the roof. We've almost doubled our vendors. So we're super excited, man. I can't say enough. So I'll try and stop there.
Well, no, that's good. There is something I wanted to touch on because I know there were two other shows, one in Corpus Christi, one in McAllen, that is not going to happen this year. And I know that there are a lot of athletes that have been contacting you about that. Plus you have Mexico that you're pulling from too. So you've got, it's kind of, and I hate to say the perfect storm, but you kind of have this great setup to where all of these athletes are looking to compete. And one of the things that I'm going to tell you, because I know that you shared it with me, that your numbers, you're seeing, you're excited about them. And I guess the other portion of that is it might be worth, if a competitor is listening, to register now or later. I would say would probably be a good idea, because you're starting to pull from those other shows that they can't compete in. And that's really, you know, spiking up your numbers. And I would just say that it might be worth preparing now and getting your registration in now. If I could encourage athletes who are thinking about it. I also saw that a few people on this already said that they wanted to register. I'm kind of looking at the comments as they're rolling up, as you know, a lot of people wait till the last minute. You know, it's amazing that the last 4 weeks, it seems between 60 to 80% of our competitors register. And I know you guys are way ahead of last year. And, you know, what's great about it is we want to do our best to help you organize the show, make it your best ever. And I think a lot of the times as an athlete, if you're planning or thinking about doing the show, take the plunge. It's most likely going to happen. We're about 95%, you know, and I know, and here was the biggest indicator. Some of you probably caught on to this. When the NFL announced their schedule this morning, that's an indicator that the mass gatherings are probably going to happen. It's going to be in a little bit of a different way. But if an NFL stadium holds 40,000 people to 60,000 people, I'm pretty sure that we can find a way to make these things happen. So we're going full steam ahead. You know, a lot of people kind of hold out to say, I wonder if the show's going to happen. As we know right now, looks like it, especially in Texas.
Definitely.
Absolutely. And, you know, we're doing our part too as promoters. We're talking, it was on a weekly basis, but now like maybe every 2 weeks, we're talking to the city of South Padre Island. We're getting details from both the city staff as well as the convention center. We're well abreast with everything that's happening. We're very engaged. So, you know, it's heartbreaking to move it, but it was the right decision to make. So, and you nailed it. Yeah, September 19th, we're looking great. I don't see any issues at this point. You know, Matt, we've talked offline, as a matter of fact, in regards to Plan B and C. You've got some great recommendations. We'll be looking at that as well. But yeah, as of right now, I don't see any issues. I don't see any reason why we can't rock and roll. We've adjusted tanning procedures. That's probably the biggest issue. But luckily for us, we're the vendors, and we've got that's our main expertise. So we've been able to tweak those adjustments, and as we'll apply it to every other promoter show, of course. But we're excited, and you mentioned it. I don't wish any ill will on any other promoter. We were sad to see, you know, NPC Battle of the Bay as well as the Iron House were both postponed until next year. So we know those promoters well, Lupe and you know, Miss Bernadette and Helio. So you know, it's a horrible thing, but it was the right thing to do. They made the right decision, and we're hoping the folks of the RGV area are acceptable and want to come try us out. And at the end of the day, we're going to provide a safe platform, an awesome, entertaining platform for these athletes to come out and do what they love. That's to compete. So.
Very cool. You know, there's something that I also wanted to address. Is this a family show? I mean, this is kind of a staycation, so you really picked the right area. I noticed a lot of families stayed a little bit before and a little bit after. What are some fun things to do on the island that that would really maybe make a couple extra day early or later stay?
So they have a lot of things to do. They have the sandcastle building. You can do the classes. They have parasailing. Something that I want to do this year and implement and see is I want to donate money to the turtle rescue and involve the kids and, you know, take a check down there and the name and, you know, in our name. And I also want to do a beach cleanup on Sunday, you know, whoever wants to participate in that. I think that there is a marathon actually on Sunday. I've been looking at that too. So if people want to participate in that too, we can get together and do that. A volleyball game. It's not usually falls on Mother's Day. So this time it's gonna be a little bit different. It's gonna be warmer. But there's a lot of things to do. You know, Bronzeville's right there. McAllen's a beautiful city too. They have great shopping. There's good food. So there's tons of things. Just, you know, the hotel's brand new. It's has a beautiful pool, beach access, and, you know, if people want to come and fish or, you know, stay, you know, they can take advantage of it. It's definitely make it like a little mini getaway as well.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thanks for bringing that up, man. Because, you know, last year that was kind of the driving force of our location. We wanted to do something a little different. We're definitely what we consider off radar. But again, it was a successful show. We're super happy about that. But Yeah, small details, even the small things, you know, as being in the brand new hotels, our host hotel, the Courtyard Marriott, which by the way, folks, I know a lot of people are gonna waiting for that link to come up. We're just waiting for the staff to give us that link for the athlete rates as well as the staff rates, which we take care of course. But you know, that's one thing from the get-go with us. It's always been, you know, we press those people hard, just so you guys know. It's not just calling the hotel and say, hey, we need to block out some rooms. Your promoters here, I make them work. All right. If they come out with a number, I always go back 3 or 4 times. And you know, this is sports, not cheap. And we get that. I competed back in like the 1940s, you know, when I was. So I know it, you know, we sympathize with you guys. We take all these things into consideration. You know, it's expensive to compete, especially being so far from home. So we take those things into consideration. I make that hotel stuff work hard for you guys. All right, last year we were surprised. We got Schlitterbahn, which is normally $189 a night. We ended up getting them down to $89 a night. All right, Courtyard Marriott, our first, you know, we obviously rescheduled the show. The first batch, they usually come in about $169 a night, and we got them down to I think $92.99 per night. So we're expecting those same rates. We'll get the same rates, I'm pretty sure. So we're gonna but again, small details. We understand, you know, take everything into consideration. The actual host hotel is much closer than last year. It's almost, it's adjacent, almost directly across the street. We know most families do come down if you want to have a staycation, if you will, on the beach. If you guys come down on one vehicle, obviously as a family, there's actually a shuttle as well. We talked about that last year. So if the athlete, you know, has to get up in the morning at 3 or 4 to go accomplish the makeup and tanning touch-ups, that's what happens. So athlete can take off, come to the venue, get those touch-ups accomplished, get that makeup applied, and the family can come later in the shuttle bus. So we've taken those things into consideration, small details. We hope they help the families and the athletes out themselves. And again, we're just ironing everything out, making sure it's perfect. And we want to give every athlete, as well as vendor and sponsor and participant, spectator, just an awesome experience. It's a beautiful location. I mean, you can't go wrong with South Padre. You haven't been there, it's absolutely gorgeous. And like Lisa said, there's so many things to do. So we're excited.
Is Schlitterbahn open in September?
Well, here's the deal. It actually got bought out. Schlitterbahn went out of business. And I'm not going to try and attempt to say the name, so I'll be wrong. But it's still a water park. But they did a lot of demolition, from what I understand. So a lot of the stuff is down. But again, I don't want to take anything away from them. If people want to stay there, have a little vacation. But it is still a water park. But I'm just not sure what the name is anymore. So,
Now, real quick, we're still looking for vendors. So if you have a product, or if you have apparel line, or, you know, if you want to, you know, you have earrings or jewelry or something, we're still looking for vendors to come out and, you know, to put a booth up. And there's also going to be a food vendor there too. That way nobody's starving. And meals prep too for the athletes, you know, if they can't get their food there, you know, we're going to have all of that there for them as well.
Very good. Now, you also brought on All-Star Nutrition. Is that correct, as a sponsor this year?
Thank you for bringing that up. We want to bring that up. We actually have a couple of sponsors this year, which we're very proud of. That was all part of the hard work and relationships we built in the first year. So super excited to of course, say gold sponsor. We have All-Star Nutrition, 2 locations, Harlingen and Farr. Both those guys are on board. Great couple, great people, amazing products, great prices. Stop by and see them again. All-Star Nutrition in Harlingen and Farr, 2 locations. They're going to be there. They were there last year as well. So we're excited they came on board to help us out a little bit. Competition kit, Miss Ann, you guys, everyone knows Ann.
Yeah, Ann is awesome.
She's watching, by the way, too.
She's awesome. She's done a lot to help us out in regards to both our show and also behind the scenes. For a minute, she's helped us out a lot with just basic business type things. Super happy to have her on board this year as a gold sponsor. And finally, we pulled one more. It's Slim Secret Med Spa. They've recently come on board. We're super excited to have them. I don't know, Lisa could probably tell you a lot more what they do than I can, but your typical spa, they do tons of services. We're very excited to have them on board. I know personally we'll be going there probably Sunday if they're open. I'm without Monday morning because we're staying as a staycation, of course. We're gonna get a few days in, and we're gonna get the IVs and probably get a B12 shot afterwards.
Everything.
Yeah, everything. So, you know, maybe a little Botox. I don't know.
I don't see a wrinkle on either of your faces, so don't even get started, dude.
I want to kind of go back to something Lisa said about vendors and kind of get out our athletes. I guarantee there's a lot of people out there, and there's may even be some watching right now, but I know some of our athletes, they know somebody that is out there trying to get a t-shirt brand off, some type of protein donut. I mean, there's so many things out there now. And if there's one thing that, like, especially fitness girls do, they eat, they work out, and they shop. So if you're somebody starting a business, t-shirts, swimsuits, whatever, jewelry, these are great things to have a booth at a fitness show, because I guarantee you will get traffic at your booth. So those athletes and whoever's watching right now, kind of spread the word, because I know I've had some clients that I didn't even know, and they're like, oh yeah, such and such started a t-shirt business, and well, bring them on, so, because one thing we do as athletes is we buy gym gear and t-shirts and all that. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Absolutely.
Great idea.
Yeah, and Matt, Mr. Storm mentioned it earlier too, is athletes and sponsors. The sooner you get on board, the more beneficial it is for you and to us, so we can plan.
Right.
But from the business side of the house, the sooner you come on board, I've been talking to a lot of people. Again, we've got 40 booths we're going to sprint out. I think we have 13 left. The premium booths, they sold out within 10 days. So most of that was from returnees from last year. So we're super grateful to have, build those relationships to enable people to come back. Super excited, but we got a few booths left, and get on board. As soon as you get on board, what that does for you as a vendor, it gives us more time to get you on our social media, to get you on our website, www.spishowdown.com. We list all our vendors. We actually have created a hyperlink directly to wherever you want us to send that to. And our goal was three-pronged approach. I got that verbiage from Mr. Storm, by the way. Thank you. Again, I'm stealing it, brother.
Steal away.
When we say that, though, it's three-pronged approach. What we're going to do is we're going to bring you people prior to the show, let people know who you are, bring them there. The day of the show, put thousands of spectators and athletes in front of your booth, and even afterwards, have that residual effect. Basically, there's tons of pictures going around, and people getting tagged all the time through social media outlets. People will say, hey, I saw you at the SPI Showdown. You had a great product. What's going on? So again, if I've been talking to a ton of you, and let me say that too. What happened last year is I was talking to a ton of people. We actually sold out of booths because everyone started pulling the trigger at the same time. Athletes do it, and vendors do it as well. Okay, we know money's tight, especially now because of COVID. So if you're on board, let us know. We'll work something out. Okay, we can develop a contract and we'll lock it in. But if you wait, until everyone pulls that trigger, it's for booths. We noticed last year is about the 6 to 7 week mark. All the booths just went like overnight. So I've been talking to a lot of you, and I know what I don't want to happen is the same things last year. I've been developing these relationships. I talked to tons of people. All of a sudden, all the booths are sold out, and you hit me up and you're like, hey, we've been talking for weeks, man. What happened? I'm like, I got to tell you, hey, we're sold out. So let's get you on board.
There's two things. Number one, where can athletes register? Can they register at the SPI website?
Absolutely. Best place to do that. It's obviously through fits with third party. But if you go to www.spishowdown.com and click register, it should be the top notch there. It'll take you to all the parameters. It'll discuss you are required to have a GBO membership card. And then we have the registration link for our direct show. And it lists everything. It's got the times of the show, both pre-judging as well as night show. So best place to register, folks, www.spishowdown.com. Click register and do yourself a favor. Read through all that information. It's very important. That's why we have it there. Get your GBO membership card. That's good for 1 calendar year. All right. And then you can enter through FitSquid, click that registration link, and you'll be ready for our show.
Perfect. Now, the last thing, do you have any t-shirts left? I know they've been flying off the shelves. Do you have, because you made some stuff and I'm like digging it. I'm hoping I get something and I can buy something when I come down.
Well, thank you. We've actually been pretty proud of that. We didn't expect it. We made a couple of concept shirts this year. We knew we wanted to go into merchandise this year, and they just flew off the shelves. So we've actually tweaked the process. So initially, we were heat pressing them, and now we're going full production. We're getting them silk screened. We're actually going to introduce a couple more products here in about a week and a half. So they're going quick, man. But production value of our show is going to be insane, by the way. So this is what kind of started that. We're going to have an official merchandise booth on hand. It's going to be impressive. I don't want to give away too much, but we went buck wild with production this year. Nice. And a part of that is the official merchandise booth. When you walk in, it'll hit you right in the face. We're excited, folks. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss a show. It's going to look impressive. So we're excited. We cannot wait.
Good. Well, I'm going to try and sneak a shirt beforehand. I'll just let you know that because I am driving out to San Antonio next week. So I'm going to see if I can meet up.
But let us know, brother. We got a few different sizes. So a few different forms too. So let us know.
Yes, sir. Well, hey, we appreciate you guys. And I know words don't really mean much. So whatever we can do to support you, our actions obviously speak louder than that. Lisa, you're absolutely incredible. And Scott, you're a pretty good guy too, dude. So I'm just saying.
Thank you. Likewise, brother. Again, I genuinely say thanks for what you do, man. It's appreciated. You need to know that. Okay. You're doing great things for the GBO. We love you.
Well, all good, man. All good. Yes.
Can't wait to see you.
Hey guys, take care. Thanks again. And we will talk soon. Okay. I'm going to hit you up next week and come see you.
Roger that, guy. Take care.
Bye. Hey guys, just to finish up on the last few things, we are going to be hosting athletes starting next week, as well as another promoter. I'm not going to let you know who she is, but she is going to be running a natural show in Georgia. Probably already gave that away. We're also in the midst of looking to see exactly who we're going to bring on. I know that Chris had a 6:30 appointment, so I wanted to give a little extra time to Scott and Lisa as we got them on finally. But I got to tell you, this banner is super exciting. And for those of you who haven't seen that logo or this logo, that is all Scott and Lisa. But Kyle Green, Elliott Robinson, I see you guys are watching. Jeremy Brandon, I see Elsa Garcia. I see a lot of you guys. There's some stuff that's going to get that stirred up a little bit. Tony Rodriguez in New Orleans. Hello, sir. I can't wait to see what's going to happen, but somebody is getting called out of retirement and we are going to host it here. So get ready for a little stirring of the pot. Tune in next week, Friday, 5:30. Until then, we'll see you then.